Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Queer There Everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. On the couch today, I have the very talented, the wonderful Ramanique Ahluwalia.
Oh my!
Did I get it wrong?
So close.
Ahluwalia.
Ahluwalia.
Let's do that again. Ahluwalia. I was like, do you know what it was? I knew it, and then it was like the fear coming up to saying it.
But yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Queer There Everywhere. On the sofa today, I have the fabulous, the wonderful, the very, very talented Ramanique Ahluwalia. She is an actress. She is an activist. What else? You're a writer. A writer. Yeah, you've been in Rec. You've been in Cheer Squad on BBC. BBC Three and BBC iPlayer.
Yes, yeah.
Which is on what?
Rec is on BBC Three, but also on BBC iPlayer now.
Yeah.
And Rebel Cheer Squad is BBC iPlayer and Netflix.
Ooh. and your activism, she, her, they, them.
Yes, so I'm a co-organizer of She, Her, They, Them, which is a community building social initiative in East London for queer women and gender non-conforming people.
I am wearing the merch. Yes. No turds, no swerves, no Tories. Oh, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. And you are the girlfriend of the wonderful Dom Holmes, who is an amazing tattoo artist. I love them very much. They've done lots of my ink. And yeah, it's just such a privilege to have you here.
Thank you.
I want to touch on everything. Where shall we begin? Where did you train?
I trained in New York. So I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York.
Fabulous. How was that?
It was amazing. I originally didn't think I wanted to go to drama school. So when I left to finish my A levels, I had an agent. So I was like, I'm just gonna audition and see what happens. And then after about a year or so of not much happening, I was like, maybe I should explore other options and the other. And me and my best friend went to New York. It was the first time I'd been to New York, and I just had the best. Like, it was, I don't know why, I just always had a connection to New York or an affinity. I don't know. And we went, and I absolutely fell in love with the city, and I had this very kind of dramatic movie moment. Sort of, I was stood on the top of the Empire State Building, and I was like, I would love to live here. How can I live here? I think like the only way affordably, or not even affordably, would be to like come and train here. And I sort of had this moment of reckoning up on top of the Empire State Building of like, oh, maybe you were a bit scared to apply for schools. And maybe that was a part of the reason why you didn't apply 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I sort of made a promise to myself when I went home, I would apply for drama schools, and one of those schools would be in New York. And that was the one I got into.
That is the one.
Yeah.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Oh mate, how was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I had to defer my place for a year to basically find the money and work. I worked any job anyone would give me for a year to get the money together.
We love
so I'd sort of been in hibernation for a year, no social life, no nothing, just saving. So getting to New York was really like I'm here, I did it, and it was amazing. I love it. It was so good. I wish I could go back now, because unfortunately back then I was still figuring a lot of stuff out in terms of my queerness and all of that, and I sometimes I'm like, the drama school side of it was incredible. I do sometimes wish I could go back and just be a reckless little queer young 20-something person in New York. I feel like I missed a golden opportunity there a little bit, but I learned a lot of lessons. Yeah.
What lessons?
Oh, getting my heart broken, first love, falling in love in the first year and then spending the second year pining over the heartbreak of the first love. was, and learning that I can never if someone doesn't like you, they don't like you. You can't force them to see you in a different way.
Yeah.
And I learned that lesson, and it was very valuable. But I feel like I wish I'd learned it a bit quicker.
Yeah.
So that I could have like enjoyed New York a bit more and like had a bit more fun.
How old are you?
When I moved out there, I was 20.
Yeah.
And then I turned 21 in my first year there. So
I don't know about you, because I mean, when I went to Italia Conti, and I sometimes wish I could redo it, just for whilst I was being taught there, being my queer self and just being able to be authentically myself and just do like queer roles and things like that, and like forge my way rather than doing like, you know, the gender specific things and you know that because I didn't want to do like Shakespeare roles and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I love it. Actually put me off acting. And then a movie that I did 2 years ago, I absolutely love doing, and you know, watched it this year, and I was actually like so proud of myself, which is like a new thing for me. Well, it's not new for me. I've been proud of myself for a lot of things, but you know, that kind of like I was like, oh, maybe I'm just not good at, because it was just
not the right fit.
It just wasn't my vehicle, things like that. And also when anything I've created or I've done, I can be my own worst critic, like, you know, like, and you know, the ick of like watching this, especially on a big cinema screen, is like that. And it's like, how's it going to be? And I was, you know, in like 4 scenes, I had about 40 lines or what have you. In the first couple of lines, my voice placement was weird, and I think it was like nerves. And then I relaxed, and then I was like, oh. And there was all these like proper actors who were in like really like yourself. They were all like, I was like, do you know what? I agree. Actually, I was good. I was like, okay. So I am like, oh, all that training. I would have liked to have done that as myself authentically and not been, you know, thinking into these roles. But I don't know how that was for you.
I think that, like, for me, training wise, I think, like, I mean, the school itself had its own, like, I feel like all of these drama schools have their own set of like bureaucracy and sort of issues. So it wasn't by no means a perfect school. I was very lucky in terms of like the directors and teachers that I had. So I think in terms of the training side of things, like I really got the most out of it.
Beautiful.
But I think I was learning a lot about myself at the time. I obviously, if I'd known myself more, if I had been further along in that journey, obviously that would have changed my training experience as well. But I maybe didn't feel it in the same. I was just so happy to be there. So
I do, me too. I had a ball. It was just you know, being told that I had to like butch up and things like that, and like, you know, put muscles on and don't dance so effeminately, and I don't know, all the like blah of it all. But like, you know, but you play queer roles, haven't you?
Yes, So those 2 roles in Rec and Rebel Cheer Squad are queer roles. And to be honest, if a role doesn't specify, then I always decide that it's a queer role anyway. So like in The Devil's Hour on Amazon, and I was in a show called Douglas is Cancelled on ITV, and I'm always like, well, if it doesn't say, I mean, I assume gay.
What?
Like, it doesn't. Amazing. It'll inform me.
Does it inform? Well, that, you know, you can pull from it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We got that.
Just assume straight.
They do, and they should. You know, what's been your favorite role that you've done? I know you should have favorites, but no, do you?
No, I do. Rec was definitely a favorite. I mean, it was like my biggest role. I mean, still to date, really. And I can never really talk too much about it unless you've seen it, because it's a very twisty, turny, spoilery kind of show. It's comedy horror. But yeah, that was a role where I really got to have fun and get my teeth into it, and I got to do a lot of like really cool things, and the cast as well was amazing, and the writer Ryan Brown is an amazing queer writer.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it just felt like a little like queer family was involved in it. And I really enjoyed that one.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned as an actor, and what's the best advice you've been given?
Oh, that's tough. The biggest lesson I've learned as an actor, I guess it's probably trying to shift how you view success, or how I view success. It's so easy to think success is booking the job, but I feel like I did used to think that, but you don't get so many jobs that if you think like that is really gonna kind of, be tough on your kind of self-esteem. So it's like shifting that, and it's like, okay, if like recalls, getting you brought in by that same casting director multiple times, those are all successes. And sort of just taking a moment to sort of really acknowledge those those wins, and not viewing booking the job as the win. So yeah, taking that time. And then, was it the best advice?
2 seconds. I've got anxiety. We are filming. I will edit that out. Because I was like, trying to run the note around him. Edit. Yeah.
And then, was it the best advice?
Best advice you've been given.
Best advice. Can't remember if this is advice or whether this is probably another lesson that I've learned. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it is advice, then I'm sorry to whoever told me it, because I can't remember.
But that's okay. We have doctor's notes. Yes. Get into that.
But I think it's live a full life beyond acting and beyond kind of what you do creatively, and find happiness and fulfillment beyond that. And that's not to say that like you live your life in separate parts or anything, because I know like when you're a creative, we are, our jobs are our passion. It is so a part of us. It's not as clear cut as that. But I think because the industry can be so brutal, finding things outside of that can satisfy you creatively, and like feed your creativity in a different way, and nourish you in a different way, that is really valuable. And when things get tough, or like last year the industry was pretty dead globally,
everybody
for even like
in front, behind the camera.
So I think in times like that, having those things to sort of fall back on and to keep you going is really important. And also having something creative that isn't connected to like making money as well, and like that your livelihood doesn't depend on, and I think is also healthy. Definitely.
What's that for you?
Well, I love interior design and also like DIY. If something's too expensive for me, I will try to figure out whether I can make it myself.
I love that. Very queer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I sometimes drive Dom crazy with that, because I've always got something in the back of my head of like, oh, we could do that, or like this could be. And I think sometimes they just want some peace and like calm.
And you've got the drill out.
Yeah. Oh yes. Fine. As soon as they hear the of the tape measure.
Oh yeah.
He called the tape measure my best friend.
Really?
Like, as soon as they hear that,
I
like they can hear it across the house, and they're like, "Babe, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Just checking."
What have you built or fixed that you're most proud of?
I am most proud of my most recent DIY, which was Dom, my partner, was away for doing an art fair they're an incredible oil painter, and they were away for the weekend. So my mum, we kind of did a changing rooms 24-hour makeover thing. So my mum came.
Did they know?
They had no idea, because the thing, if Dom had known, they would have been stressed the whole weekend.
Okay.
So I was helping them, like I was saving them from the stress.
Yeah.
It was also a DIY that was in their art studio as well. So like, it was very, yeah. So my mum came down and we covertly like sold the bookshelf that was in this alcove, and then built these like fitted shelves, and that was made. So that was like very good, but I had the help from my mum for that. And
so your mum's handy.
Yeah, I've learned it all from my mum. My interior designer, and she's incredibly handy, and is like essentially built her own house before, like when she's in her 20s, and yeah, she's a very, like, I'm trying to learn as much from her as I can.
I love that.
So
what's her aesthetic?
Her aesthetic is sort of like old meets new. So like antique furniture, but she's always learning. She's always kind of taking in what's going on and adjusting her style. I feel like she's kind of, I mean, 30 plus years into her career is like only now really like she's got her a sort of signature sort of
style.
Yeah. Which isn't like that she was finding herself or anything. It was just that's how long it takes, you know.
Yeah.
And she's really like doing incredible work.
And what about your aesthetic?
My aesthetic is similar, to be honest. Like, I was very fortunate. Like, we had pieces of furniture that were passed down on my mum's side of the family. So like, I've got some beautiful pieces of antique furniture, and then sort of mixing that with slightly more clean. Like, for me, it's sort of like California, bright, simple textures, natural earthy tones, that kind of thing. Woods, like, and with various pops of color, but just calm. Like, I want my hands to be like a sanctuary, calm.
Calm is my favorite feeling. So I'm moving to Adelaide, and Daddy said that I can style the house.
Oh my god,
do what I want. So I. Yeah. So I'm sort of thinking like boho, California, Cali, Malibu-y, mid-century, faggy, modern.
And you're gonna have the sunshine for that. The thing in London, like I'm trying to create that aesthetic, but then you've got like the grey, sludgy light that comes through, and you're like, it just doesn't hit in the same way.
It doesn't. Oh, and what else was I going to ask you? I've got so many questions, my darling. Do you want to talk about your activism, which is so amazing?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that for the community.
No, I mean, Dom is very much like they founded She, Her, They, Them back in 2018, and I sort of started helping out when we got together, and it sort of went on hiatus because of the pandemic, and then in 2021, I think it was, they relaunched it, and then I got on board and started helping with the organizing of it. And yeah, like I said, it's a community building initiative, and sort of trying to create spaces in local areas for people to meet, and sort of decentering the kind of nightclub sort of those sort of spaces, and just a more sort of sober space for people to meet, or not, for people to meet and connect, and find community in a space that's accessible and safe. But things have sort of changed. Like, so that was 21, 22, 23, I think. But we were doing socials and events where people could meet, and we had other organizations and charities join us to connect with the community, and we had some really amazing, beautiful events and socials. And then unfortunately we lost our venue in Forest Gate. They shut down, and we sort of had to take another like hiatus. We found out overnight, and we were just getting in our stride of like, people knew it was a monthly thing, and word was getting out, and then we lost the venue. So we sort of had to take a step back and just readjust and be like, okay, how are we gonna move forwards? And within that time, it's been amazing in East London. Like, there are so many more Flinter venues that have opened up in East London, like Camionera, Goldie Saloon, and there has been a shift in kind of queer events and night and spaces. So we were kind of like, is the original mission of She, Her, They, Them still, like, is what we were originally doing still needed? So we're sort of shifting now, and we've got a new project that we're hoping to launch in a couple of months, which is going to be the She, Her, They, Them would like to meet, and it's going to be a queer classifieds and personals. That we will be physical copy that we're hoping to distribute in cafes, bookshops, East London. Because basically, we're like, there are venues out there, there are places where people can go, and that's amazing. But how can we still basically facilitate community building and connecting people in the way that we did at our socials? And how can we still do that? We were thinking this physical classifieds, because we're also trying to basically, with everything that's going on in the world right now, building communities and like really strengthening our communities is so important. But also, how can we do that offline and sort of taking it off the socials that are all run by fascist Nazis, and
that part,
and sort of create spaces offline where people can connect and still like reach out to people and so that's what we're running now.
Reminds me of like back in the day before internet and phones, and you would pick up like QX and Boys and like to find out what's on and what's going on, and how to like all the things were what was happening. And
so that's what we're trying to do. We're going to have a personal section, which is like romantic and platonic, whatever, people can submit whatever, and then there'll be a professional section for like businesses, anyone trying to connect directly with the audience. So and a community section, so anyone wanting to promote clubs, anything really that is to do with connecting with the community.
This is amazing.
So
in a few months, you said?
Yes. So we need to set up a bit of a crowdfunder just to get the first issue out, and then hopefully it will be a quarterly issue. So keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled for all the details of the crowdfunding when it's I'll make sure this is released at the same time so we can love that. And I touched on it before, the Slady HD of it all. We have been blessed with the gift of it when we're both medicated. Well, the Alvance. How's it been?
It's been amazing. I'm still so I started medication in September, so I guess that's been almost 5 months. And I had a bit of a journey because I've been like figuring out my dosage and all that. But
how much?
I'm on 50 now.
Are you on 50?
Yeah. How much?
36.
36.
Yeah, 50. I felt like I was like, ooh, I felt a bit like a touch wired.
It's really interesting. And 36 is so specific.
I know.
We just have to be special.
I know. May have just made it be a bit difficult. I think it comes in a 36 though.
Oh.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not working.
No, I was on 30 at first, and then I did 50, and then I had a moment of like feeling a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then tried 40.
Yeah.
And then was starting to feel it wearing off quite a bit. And so back on 50, I think that's where I'm going to be. But
do you love it when it kicks in? You know, because it's just like the time release, and you feel you get 3 of them, don't you? And I'm
in.
All right, that's
Yeah, give me my to-do list.
yeah. Right. Well, how's it changed your life?
It was in a really like basic way, like a very tangible difference is that I was a lifelong nail biter, and the skin around the nails, all that. I didn't like it. I didn't like myself for doing it. And it stressed me out, and also it would get worse when I was stressed as well. And I knew before I worked for my ADHD diagnosis, I actually looked into hypnotherapy for nail biting.
Yeah.
Because it was at the point where I was like, I'm really stressed this week, and I'm taking it out on my nails and and this is actually not pleasant. It's hurting me. Like
The self-feed.
Psychological. I was like, I couldn't stop. I was like, this is really not nice, and I'm grossing myself out. Why? What is going on?
Yeah.
And I'd had like a bit of a rough year last year anyway, in terms of like anxiety, depression, you know, all that fun,
all that
jam stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of been looking at ADHD, but I hadn't quite taken it seriously yet. And then kind of, I can't remember what spiral it was of the year last year, but I basically hit a point where I was like, I need to deal with this because I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
And then basically read various articles about how ADHD can kind of be an umbrella for all those things that I'd been experiencing over the last few years. So I was like, if I'm going to throw my money at anything, so I did go private to get diagnosis because I was sort of that, I couldn't wait as long as
we've waited long enough.
Yeah.
You know.
So I was like, if I'm going to throw my money at anything, let's try this. And yeah, literally I started my medication, and within about a week and a half, I had not touched my nails on the skin around them. And it's like, you know, now and then.
Oh,
I'll have it.
they look gorgeous.
So healthy. They are healthy.
Yes, they are. Look at rings.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
But yeah, so that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I hadn't previously realized that ADHD can present it like the hyperactivity side of things, especially in women, presents itself in different ways.
Yeah.
But I hadn't realized that nail biting is actually like the hyperactivity presenting itself
in a different way.
So you're constantly saying,
like, is it a self-soothing? Is it a stimming? Is it all the above? Or is the hyperactivity? It's just something to do. Something to do that. Yeah.
I think it's just been so habitual, something that was so a part of me. Like I actually hadn't realized how much I fidgeted until I started the meds and realized how still I was. So like watching a film, because this is also why it took me a while to get my diagnosis, because I can watch a film, like have always been able to watch a film,
but that's because you love it.
But that's the thing, right? Yeah. But that's what I found also a bit difficult. I don't know about you with your assessment, is that so many of the questions in the assessment are geared towards a very sort of traditional lifestyle, like an office job, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the questions they're asking me, I'm like, well, that doesn't apply to me. Every day is different. I don't work behind a desk. I don't have assignments to hand in.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And yeah, and they ask you, like, do you struggle to sit down and watch a movie start to finish without getting distracted? And I don't.
No.
I love watching films.
Because we've got good taste. We pick the right ones. That's, yeah. But
yeah, I haven't realized even just when sitting and watching a film how I would
shift about. Yeah. And did you ever I did?
I had that. Yeah, literally on Monday I forgot to take my meds, and I was doing a voice job, and I noticed my leg was going. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't done that in a long time.
I used to do all sorts. Like at school, I used to have a facial twitch, like twitches like this, and so I touched my thumb for years. Like, I mean, so many things. I got full marks. I didn't believe it. I didn't even know I got it. Like Jonas, my husband, his doctor, he was the one that was like, I think you've got ADHD, because
Dom was the one for me.
how lucky are we that because the same. I was like, why do I have to like this anxiety and depression? And I tried the anxiety tablets, and I had one dose on one day, and I couldn't feel any emotions for like 24 hours. Couldn't feel anything. I looked at my dog, at George, and I thought, I feel nothing for you. And I was like, okay, that's not a solution. That's not what is wrong with me. And so I never took it ever again. But yeah, God bless science.
Yeah. It's incredible how this one thing can,
yeah,
change it. But it was. I also just had this list of things that I hadn't been able to do, main stuff around the house and all of that. And within 2 weeks, I'd done them all. It was like the sock list was clear, and it was, that was pretty cool.
Yay! Come on, Alvance. And you just got back from India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got back last week. Yeah.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was really, really amazing. I'm mixed heritage. My dad's Punjabi, and I grew up with my Punjabi grandparents, so very, very close and connected to that part of me. And I spent a lot of summers when I was a kid out in Punjab, but I hadn't been back in almost 20 years.
Wow!
So this was my first time going back to India as a fully grown woman.
Yes.
And be a queer woman.
Okay, how was that? Do they know that you?
So no, my family out there they didn't know before going. But this was part of it, because before going, I was a little bit like I had I felt a bit apprehensive before going, because I didn't actually know how much they might know.
Okay.
Because I had some family members who followed me on socials, but they either hadn't interacted or engaged with some more queer content that I'd share.
Yeah.
And I got married last year, and I shared photos from that, so it was all out there.
Yeah. So
I didn't know how much they knew, and then prior to going out there, sort of gearing myself up for the questions of like, are you married? My brother, I was going with my brother, and he'd already had some of those questions on the phone when we were organising the trip and stuff.
I just had to stop you. I did not know you got married.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Shut up.
I swear on Lady Gaga, I did not know. Congratulations. Shall we do it?
We've yet to get the actual wedding ring, but that's the engagement ring. Congrats, them folks. That's amazing. Thank you. Have you not? Oh my god!
Because I'm a bit of a post and ghoster, because I just have.
You're a social media voyeur.
Well, I'm like no. I try not to get too sucked into all of it, because with the ADHD, I will lose hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of my day, and then I start doing the comparing things, and because I've got like so many friends and things on there, I don't see a lot of people's anything either, so I didn't know.
I'm a voyeur.
I like how
be close, but I'm always watching. So like, it's on there. There are wedding pictures on there. Yeah.
Still. Okay, it's the first thing I'm doing.
So it was a very small thing. You're moving to Australia, damn it! Because we're having a party next year. Like, because we had a small thing this year, we're having a party next year, and we wanted you to like and see it for us.
Okay,
but
well,
so I have to bring you back.
Bring me over. Well, I'd love to. Amazing.
Yeah. It was a very small thing last year, and we where is I? I've lost my train.
Wedding.
What is totally out there all about the wedding?
Yeah, but isn't it wonderful?
It was lovely. Yeah, we kind of. Yeah, it was a really perfect day. Like, it was so nice, and we had our ceremony at Walthamstow Town Hall, which was really, like, just a really cool building in and of itself. And then had a little dinner afterwards at Giovanna's in Forest Gate, which is a beautiful Italian restaurant. They had a courtyard, and my mum like decorated it beautifully, and it was just exactly what we wanted it to be. Yeah, so it was really lovely. So
I love a queer wedding.
yes.
India.
Yes, so all of that was online. Going over there, knew there'd probably be questions of marriage and all of that. So I had this like week before going of being like, it was just a bit of a week of being like, do I tell Ben? I'm an open book. Like, I try to live my life very openly and like as authentically as possible. So it felt really weird to me to even consider not to admit part of who I was, or to admit me getting married last year. And I was trying to just weigh up, like, do I say anything? Do I feel comfortable? So I want to prioritize my comfort and my peace.
Yes.
Also,
I did that.
Yeah, because I want to be authentic always, but it means sometimes you have to weigh up those things, and the reality is
it worth it? Like you say, I want to prioritize my peace. And
so I was like weighing that up, but then I was also like, I don't want to. I sort of got to a point where I was like, if I don't say anything, I'll be upset. If I do say anything, I open myself up to the joy of it going well, or the upset. And I was like, so that choice gives me the opportunity of joy, whereas the other one is only disappointment.
Right.
So I was sort of leaning that way.
Yeah.
And then I was also like, in just thinking about it all, I don't want to also be this person coming over, this Westerner sort of coming over, assuming that there would be an issue as well, especially since like, you know, the British Empire are the ones that like introduce homophobia to the era, like,
and the rest of the world.
Yes, but I don't want to assume that that's what the response would be, especially as like my grandparents, my BG and granddad were amazing and very like super accepting, previous partners, and very loving. And I've, you know, apart from like one family member,
there's
my family, there's always one. My family's been amazing, so I also don't want to assume that it's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
but I don't know. And I'm in rural Punjab. I don't have my finger on the pulse of, you know, attitudes towards queer people in Punjab. I just don't know. So I was like weighing all this up, and then while I was out there, I sort of made the decision that was like, I'm here after 20 years to reconnect, and I was having an amazing trip up in, you know, prior to the family part of the trip. It'd been incredible. Like, my language, I'd previously spoken quite broken Punjabi, or I felt quite critical of my Punjabi, whereas after only a few days being out there, it was like, when I was a kid, I would say that I understood a lot, but I couldn't speak as much as I understood. And while I was out there was like a leveling act, like a balancing act in my brain. And I don't know whether this was also being on ADHD medication as well. The self-consciousness just wasn't there as much. Confidence was, the critic, that kind of wasn't there. I also wasn't there with like my dad and family members who I felt I would get criticism from, or feel like self-conscious around, or be corrected in a way that didn't make me feel good. So I don't know whether it was probably all of those things playing into it. So I was already having this amazing trip, like feeling reconnected with this place that I had worried I'd lost that connection with. So I basically made the decision that if I'm here and reconnecting with family, it's not worth it to me if I'm not reconnecting with them as my whole self, and not sharing who I am in totality. Like, that's not worth it to me.
How did it go?
It went so well. So there were some various family members who I hadn't met before prior to this trip. and yeah, shared it with them, and they were so loving and supportive. Like one uncle was maybe a little bit like, I felt his energy shift a little bit, but my auntie sort of like, put him back in his box, sort of, and that was lovely as well to sort of see that like reaction. And then
you and stuff.
yeah, and then one of my other aunties, I didn't even have to tell her; she'd already seen it on my Instagram, and we were chatting to my brother. They were asking him about marriage, and I was sort of gearing myself up psychologically for the focus to shift to me. And then before there was that lulling conversation as his bit had sort of wrapped up. There was a little lull, and then I was psychologically getting ready for my turn. And then my auntie said, before I could even say anything, she said, "And you, like, Ramanique, you must come back with your friend." I'm like, friend as in and that really took me off guard and just hit me. It was really lovely.
Beautiful.
And they all were like so lovely and reassuring. They're like, it's no big deal. Like, it's a
they'll love them as well.
She's a teacher, and she was like, I have a student who in my class who's queer as well, and they're like, it's very normal. And I literally was like, yeah, I know, it's my life. Like, you don't need to reassure, like, it's fine. But it was really sweet. And I think the fact that they're also inviting me back with Dom, with my partner, is just something that I could never, prior to this trip, could never have imagined, or even hadn't really even got my head hadn't even gone there. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from this trip. I was very much like open to whatever came my way. But yeah, it was a real kind of soul shifting, incredible, beautiful 2 weeks.
I love that. Is Dom excited to go visit?
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years we can get over that. Sorry. So you've been,
I've been a few times. I first went to India. I lived in Mumbai for 7 months. I was dancing in Bollywood films.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well,
You need to tell me this one.
So, Houseful 2 with Deepika and John Abraham. So I was out there filming that one for that time, and it was a real shift for me. I mean, the first sort of like time I was introduced to, and I grew up very working class, and a lot of like trauma and blah blah, and Catholicism and all of that, and it was just all like shame, so gain the throne. Shame. It was very that like everywhere, home, school, on the streets, everything. And the first time I experienced any sort of like I was in Shanghai, and I was having a foot massage down this back street. I was in Spirit of the Dance, Irish dancing, and I had terrible shin splints, and we had to do these ice baths, and we had physios on tour, and nothing worked. This lady started touching my feet, and within like 10 seconds, she didn't speak English. She pointed to my shins, and she was like, she was like, can I? And I was like this. So she worked on them for like an hour, and I woke up, and they were gone, and they never came back. So I was like, okay, there's some magic out there that I don't know about. And then I got to India, and I don't want to call some of these, well, I'm not going to say the names of who I was with, but we were some tea about to be spilled. Oh, God, tracking things. And I was there with some other dancers who have been in like West End shows and and we were young, we were in our early 20s. And when we arrived, we went through on the coach that picked us up. We went through the slums and saw like, I don't know, like I saw like a 4-year-old little girl like eating out of like trash and things like that, and it affected me a lot. And then we got to the hotel, and everyone had seen the same thing that I'd seen, but some of the dancers started complaining that the hotel wasn't nice enough. And so I was like, and I know it's an ADHD thing as well, isn't it? Like we're very
strong sense of right and wrong.
Yeah, strong sense of like values and things like that. So that was something. And then I made friends with one of the runners there who was amazing, working on the film. And there was some things that were a bit, they'd hide like white dancers to put us in front of all these amazing Bollywood like Indian dancers who were incredible at it. And I've never trained in it. I pick it up and did my best, and because I've done all forms of dancing, so I can do a bit of everything, but not authentically, not like culturally like how it should be done. So I was very like ick with that. And I brought that up to the dancer. They were like, what you on about sort of thing. And anyway, my friend's this wonderful runner. He invited us out to a night out in one of the like squares. One of the local squares, and was doing all the beautiful dancers and things like that. And they introduced us as the dancers in this film because like John Abraham, if anyone doesn't know him, he's like Brad Pitt or and he's so lovely and gorgeous, and he invited me into his trailer because we had a mutual friend back home, and that was how I got him with a runner. And anyway, anyway, and the clang of it all, and they said, "Oh, come and dance with us." And the other dancers, they didn't want to dance and get involved, and I was like, yes, let's go, shoes and socks off, joining in. It was so beautiful. And then he invited us back to his home, and he was so proud of his home. He was so proud of his home, and the size of his home in like sort of Western terms would be probably the size of someone's living room. And there's like the entire family there living in there, but it was gorgeous. It was immaculate. The hospitality, the love, the pride. It was very, very overwhelming for me. Because
I feel the same.
Because I didn't grow up around a lot of love and if I ruin my makeup because I'm going to do another podcast after this. So that experience of that was wonderful. I did my first yoga class out there, 1-on-1 with this amazing teacher, and
that's yoga class.
Yeah. And then I did I visited some temples, and I was very drawn to Ganesha and the remover of obstacles, and I knew that I had a lot of obstacles to remove within myself, within my mind, and the stuff that I'd gone through because I was still very young. And and I went back, and I am shedding a tear now, and hopefully the spray will work, and it's the setting spray. Oh, fingers crossed. I went back and I did 2 times and did like various parts of the South and traveled around, and on very much on like a budget, and like 1-star, 2-star, like taking all manner of things, and visit like Goa and Hampi, and just so beautiful. And I just loved there's so much love and magic there, and I love the spirituality, and don't need to tell you that not everything is perfect like anywhere, but for me I found some healing, and I found yoga, and I had a spiritual shift, and it was why I got Ganesha on my arm, and I carried on both times when I went. I did more yoga out there and carried on doing yoga, and I've been practicing for about 17-18 years, been teaching now for 9 years, did my teacher training, did 2 more, and I love it so much because I think when you have been through trauma, if you deal with it in the correct way, it can give you a lot of wisdom and empathy for others. And I just want to hold space for that. I just want people to learn to be okay and share that wisdom, because the original yoga teachers, that was their what they wanted it for. They wanted it to be shared with the world, and I know it's not always shared in the right way. There's a lot of like gym yoga and things like that, which is fine. I guess people are moving. It's been co-opted, and it's not
white wellness movement.
Yeah, and it's not taught in the right way. So for me, I always use the Sanskrit. I always explain like all the tenets of the yoga, whilst also being very authentic and fun and inclusive, and that's very important to me as a white Brit-ish person. I mean, I was told by a shaman that I was reincarnated and I was Indian in past life, so I'm holding on to that. I'm like, I already have enough shame as a queer person, so I can't be dealing with like the colonizers, we're in the empire, and but like I think it is really important if you are, you're respecting it, and you're and I love it, and it is the thing that I will always teach yoga. I will always teach it. I want my own studio one day. I love it so much. Even this podcast has been really nice because I've been searching for a way to bring my spirituality and my art together without being like too sincere. Too Gwynny Pouch, do you know what I mean? Which I love her, but like, I feel like I'm more like Drew Barrymore, right? Somewhere in the piddle. So I'm so grateful to it, and I love the yoga community and the food and the it's such a rich history. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's gorgeous.
And it is. Really, it's a beautiful place. I'm at generosity of spirit as well.
It's generosity of spirit.
It's overwhelming.
Isn't it overwhelming?
When I think about my family there and all the people that we met over the 2 weeks that we were there, like I mean, unfortunately, I got back and went straight into work. I haven't had a moment to sort of breathe and process and journal yet, but I have felt like I just need like a quiet moment to just cry and let it out since getting back.
The smiles, the openness, like
it's a very special place, and yeah.
And then I feel very lucky and grateful that I was brought to the culture, and
it sounds like you came to it in such a organic way when in exactly the moment that you needed.
It's made me a better person. Which yes, I'm very thankful. It's wonderful. And I can't wait to go and do the north as well. I have a whole list of like places.
I've never been by, and there's so much further south than that. Like,
I mean, it's huge. There's so much to see, isn't there? And
so much. I can't wait. Hopefully next time we can do that side.
Go and see that. Hampi is amazing. Like little island off of Goa, and you like get to it by like a wicker baskets, or like over on like the river, and then it's like this lost like temple like place. It's so amazing.
Like when I go south, it's gonna be like a completely different world for me, because for me to think of India and beaches and ocean and stuff is so just beyond the India that I've been north. Like it's flat farmland and I've been like in Jaipur in the desert and all that. It's just such a different landscape. So it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to it's going to really feel like exploring a whole new part of India.
Yes, I love that. What else? We haven't spoken about your writing.
Yes, yeah. As I said, like last year was very dead acting wise, and I've had various beginnings of writing projects over the years, and last summer was an idea came to me that has sort of been on my mind since I was about 16, but sort of drawing together all these various things that I've started to explore in one way or another. And I sort of have finally found a vehicle that connects it all. And I'm very excited about it. It's way too early for you to see anything emotional, because it still feels precious and Yes, I mean, it still feels very much in my head, and I need to get it to a point where it is tangible and something that I can actually do something with.
Okay.
But it is something that this year is a big focus for me.
I love writing.
Yes.
So good.
I feel like now that I have medication as well,
It's game changer, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I've that's part of over the last few years, that part of the thing that's been so frustrating is starting to write something and then getting bogged down in the kind of swirly headstorm of it all, and then losing my momentum and getting overly critical of myself and all of that. And it has been really lovely, even though this project is very early days, the confidence and the belief in what I'm doing has sustained throughout. So
the confidence is like subtly you can see what is the truth all of a sudden about yourself. You like
like I still have moments where I've low self-esteem, but I feel like my brain can step out of it a lot quicker and be like, no, that's not true yet. Like you said, the truth of you is this, and that's just how you're feeling right now, but that's not actually who you are.
That's my experience as well. I'm like, shh, you're programming from the childhood, go away, I'm not interested, it's not the truth. And I did a sound bath recently. I love her. Lani Richilio, she is amazing. She is my favorite sound
in London.
facilitator. Yes, she's fabulous at hockey religion. She does like a cow journey and some breath work during it. And she's been doing it for like 15 years. She took me on this journey. I mean, my third eye was like, what's going? And I was like, I went on this journey of, I went really deep in it. And I went through, I gave myself a really good talking to. Like, how dare you be so hard on yourself? How dare you not be proud of yourself? Think of all the things you've achieved and all of this sort of stuff. And I didn't realize that I needed that actually. And I feel like I did wring out a bit more shame. And it's definitely just having the space between the things to be like, I can see you, I can hear you, but I do not believe you. So get back in your box, darling. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like on the meds with ADHD, we're unstoppable. And I'm like so excited. Right? It's like, oh my gosh, like we can do all the things.
Yeah. It's just, I did find though, like, you can do all the things as long as you plan to do all the things.
Yes.
And if you don't, then you will do all those other things with a lot of focus, but those weren't, I can still procrastinate with hyper focus. And
see, this is why I can do the socials.
Yeah.
Just I will black. Well, and then I'll get into like, okay, so now I need to do TikTok and the thing and like,
exactly. But I found like I still have to have a plan. I still have to have my to-do list. I still have to like have that structure, and then then I believe and trust myself to get it done more than I was able to previously. But
I found myself working out like business plans. I was like, oh, that's how businesses work.
I sorted out all my banking.
Did you?
Yeah. I've been meaning to do it for years, and now I'm like, now I know what ISAs are, and like,
no way. Oh, I mean, I have no idea what that is. But I did learn algebra for the first.
Wait, why did you need to see?
Because I went, the schools I went to, but not, and I was just like, I never understood it. I just couldn't get it. And then I got it like 3 weeks ago.
How are you applying that? Why did you need?
Well, I didn't.
Okay, you just were like, I needed.
Just is like a maths teacher on the side, and she told me. I was like, yes. And people have like tried to explain algebra to me at like, I don't know, in parties and stuff. I'm like, no idea. And and I was like,
what's the thought, please?
Yeah, I just sick. I hope I don't need it because I don't know if I know it.
Like I did maths for A level, and I have not. I can tell you, I've never used any of that to this day.
What I have used though is during sewing. There's a lot of like patterns cutting, and that there is a bit to that. I mean, I know everyone expects me to do the race, but the sewing's the only thing like stopping me. So I'm hoping I can hyper focus on that because I'm not doing it unless I'm like out.
Is it still part of your plan?
So let's see how the album does and the show does first. You know, if I don't need to, then
Exactly.
I won't. You know, but if I have to, but I'm only going on if I feel like I can win.
Yeah.
And that my sewing is, I've done workshops and things like that, and I'm fine if I'm in a group setting, but if I'm on my own, I'm like that because I don't love it enough for me to hyper focus on it. If I'm in a group, so I'm thinking I might join like a granny like sewing circle in Adelaide, and then there is.
I feel like that in itself sounds like a show and a concept that needs to spin.
Mic them all look back, girls. Come on, it's a podcast. All right, come on, man. Okay. You know,
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Have you got? If you had a twin, what advice would you give them?
What if I would? I would tell them to not worry so much. Full stop.
I hear you.
There we go. Done. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'll just don't worry so much about what other people think. And yeah, just try to hold on to that sort of confidence in your abilities and in who you are. And yeah, I think that's what I would say. I feel like I've had that's sort of the journey I'm on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has the meds helped with the worry?
It has. I think it's so deep.
The worry was horrendous.
Like, wired. Yeah. I still get like the anxiety still pops up here and there. But it's definitely minimized it hugely. Like it's not as present.
I feel like if I keep myself busy doing something that I love and I'm creating, then I don't worry about it. It's if I've got nothing to do, then I'll like create something to have focus on. You know, now pre-meds, I was just worrying about everything, about what everyone was thinking and everything, every situation, and like ruminating the rumination on like everything I've said and dragging things up to like 15 years ago, or like things that will never ever happen in the future. Just
such an overthinker.
Yeah.
And pulling myself apart, pulling scenarios apart, all of that. I would definitely tell my twin to not do that. It's
a waste of energy.
It's such a waste of energy. But I don't know if you like when I'm in that, it's like I'm hovering over myself. Like I can see myself doing it, and I know it's not true, and I know I'm okay, and but then I don't know. It's difficult to sort of stop, like break yourself out of it. But it's getting better, definitely. And like I definitely had a lot of perfectionism relating to my work and all of that, and that's still there, but it's not there as much anymore. Like I can do a job and leave and be like, oh well. No, some bits I probably would have done a bit differently, but that's fine. It's done now. It's not the end of the world. And sort of not have it weighing on me really heavily. Whereas I was getting to a point where I would leave a job sometimes and be making myself miserable, pulling myself apart, really not being kind to myself. And that is definitely not as present in me now, thankfully.
Do you feel like you are being kinder to yourself now? You're being more of a friend to yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I think I still have the moments where the little voice pops up, but I move on quicker.
Yeah.
So it'll pop up. Like the other day, yesterday, a podcast that I did came out. The first podcast that I'd ever done. It's my second podcast that I've ever done. But I listened back to it, and I had my moments of being like, I wish I'd sounded more this, or I don't feel like I articulated myself very well. And I did have a moment of feeling a bit flat about it. And then I was like, we'll start. It was the first time you have ever done a podcast like that. You're talking about very personal things. It's vulnerable. It's a learning process. It'll get better.
Is this your friend's podcast you were telling me about?
No.
What's that one called? You're fabulous on this podcast, by the way, but two for peace.
My friend's podcast is called Today in Gay.
Yeah.
It's a daily, Monday to Friday, daily news podcast. So like the Guardian news daily ones and all of that.
It's on Spotify.
It's on Spotify. It's everywhere you get your podcasts. So yeah, it's every day, and it basically it's all queer news. Yeah. So it's they try to sandwich it with good news, bad news, good news.
I love that they do good news.
Oh yeah, the priority is good news.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it's a way to combat these scary times.
That's such a bugbear of mine. In the UK, it's just all bad news, and it's all fear based to like clickbait and to and actually in Australia, that's not the case. They talk about like good news, and I couldn't believe it. Like all these good news stories. I was like, oh my god, they're just
generally across the news platforms.
Well, in Adelaide they did, where we're going to. But yeah, they celebrate things because there's amazing things happening. Yeah. And I think it's bloody disgusting of our media. I really actually do. I think it's awful because it drags the vibration down, and there's a lot to celebrate, and there's so much magic in the world. Mm-hmm. If people are reminded of it and know where to look for it. And yeah, there's just the culture of it in this country is very, I feel very let down by it. Yeah. I think they're letting our citizens down by it.
Yeah, it's really I know for me, I found it really difficult. I've very much been a bit hands off and disengaged with the news, and it's not that I would want to be that way. I just genuinely, like I said last year, I got quite, depressed, anxious, all of that, and I had to pull back.
You have to,
because it was really affecting my mental health.
Yeah, it has.
But with everything that's going on in the world, it's like I don't want to be disengaged. I know we need to be engaged with it, and we need to confront it and be active and be engaged, but
in smaller bounds. But it's like RuPaul says, don't look too long at the darkness because it will pull you in and it will drag you down. It's like, and especially with ADHD, we're very sensitive, and we take things on and as creatives and artists. So yeah, it's nuggets of it. So, I mean, that would be my advice to everyone. Find the good news. Go and find the magic. Go and
listen to Today in Gay.
Today in Gay.
They are sharing that good stuff and the queer stuff, and hopefully
pick up a copy of the she, her, they, them bulletin. Do we go with the class? What else we got to tell you? Don't worry, Becky. Yeah. And is there anything else and everyone need to watch? Wreck,
yeah, it's still out there. Like it came out a couple of years ago, but now it's still out there. Rebel Cheers, by the way.
Rebel Cheers,
young queers or potential queers.
How young is it? Like, what is the age group?
It's kind of like a young, I would say young teen is the demographic.
Like young teenage girl. Everyone. Anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, because
that's not.
I like a little teen. Yeah. Rebel Cheers gone, but I like it.
I mean,
I love cheerleaders. So she can be like queer cheerleader.
Yeah. So actually, but my love interest is. I hit cello, It's the cello star.
Stop it! Can you play the cello?
I can play 10 seconds of the cello, somewhat convincing.
Must be nice.
But yeah,
just have people go, oh, I can play a bass. So it's 10 seconds and then put it down. I put it's on the show. I'll just put it.
I have an amazing cello double. Like I was gonna say finger double.
Yeah, I think it's
Not that I no.
Sophie.
Like not that I need it. Oh, I did need it.
Yeah. I love the cello. I've got a I've got a shavasana of yoga cello, which it's like 11 minutes. It's gorgeous. It's so relaxing. It's just like it's beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I've had such a lovely time.
Have you had a nice day? It's all
Maybe you're leaving.
Oh, I'll be back. Like a like a bad smell. No, we're gonna be here and there. Queer there everywhere. Yeah, I'm planning on being international, just a little bit more international than I have been in the past. So, yeah, I'll be back. So we will, right? And I guess I would love to MC. Do we have, some
At the official invite now. We have to actually get it organised.
Follow Ramanique. I'll put all of the @ down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. Lots of love. Be kind to yourself and each other. And we'll see you soon. Mwah. Queer